Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be taking a look at Deathstroke, Batman, and Red Hood from DC Direct's Batman The Adventures Continue line. Without further ado, let's get started. Alright, so before we open these guys up, let's take a look at some of the packaging, man. I really dig this packaging from DC Direct. Actually, that one's kind of bent up. So let's take a look at Batman. As you can see here, we have Batman from The Adventures Continue looking really nice on the front of the card right there. I like the orange contrasting on the front of the label as well. And then, of course, we have our side panel that says the character's name, in this case, Batman, and then Batman The Adventures Continue on the front of the label panel. And that's really cool. Of course, they stuck with the theme of telling you how many pieces are in this set. So with Batman, you get the figure and then a total of 6 accessories, which are all hands and a battering, totaling 7 pieces. Really cool, man. They really just stuck with the same theme and style that they had with the Batman animated series boxes, as well as the new Batman Adventures and new Batman and Robin Adventures boxes. On the back here, nothing new, right? We just get cool Batman stylized and then legalese at the bottom. And then on this side, same thing. I think I'll recognize the artist in this video and videos moving forward if I can. So let's give recognition to all the artists. This one, Deathstroke, is sculpted by Brody Perkins. And then, of course, like I said, Batman is sculpted by Irene Madar. And then Red Hood is sculpted by Paul Harding. So shout out to all the artists. Thank you for your work. All right, guys, here they all are outside of the packaging. We're going to start with Batman real quick since he's mainly reuse. I got to say, I'm pleasantly surprised with this Batman figure. There's some stuff I like, but there's also a lot of stuff that I dislike. All right, so to start off with, obviously, this figure has cell shading to where the original release did not. So with this figure, you'll see all these blue areas, which is supposed to be the shadowing, and it looks really, really good on the boots, the gauntlets, the cape, even the back of the cape here. They got that classic Batman the Animated Series cell shading going on right there, and it looks really, really good. They have it on the cowl as well, and it looks really good. I gotta say, I wasn't for it when I first heard that that's what they were gonna do, but now that I see it in person, in hand, it's very vibrant, and it looks really, really good. It's well done as well. It doesn't look like slop. It actually looks really, really good. So I like it. I'm for it. Then they updated the flesh tone on the mouth area, and this is what I'm noticing is that I don't know if they retooled the mouth or not, but I'm noticing the lip, the sculpted lip. Now, I don't have the original head sculpt that came on the figure on my person right now. All of my Batmans that are on display they have a head from the expression pack on them. So I don't want to dig and try to find that. But this is what I'll say. Maybe by them updating the flesh tone, it darkened it, and that's how you're able to notice that lip popping out, because before they just had this really light translucent skin tone going on, and maybe it was hard to see the sculpt work on the actual sculpt. I will say with this flesh tone, it definitely brings out his features a lot better, and it creates shadows a lot better, and I think the shadows that fall over it look really, really good. I'm really happy they decided to update the skin tone on this guy because it looks absolutely stunning without a doubt. They also added updated colors to the bat symbol. That's an updated yellow, as well as his belt. So both of those are updated, right? It's a lot more vibrant, and I will give you an example of that in a moment. Now, for really the updated articulation is only in the legs. So for the legs, you have this T-joint going on, and then you have double jointed knees, and you have boot swivel, right? So we saw this with the Bat Cycle Batman, and it's really nice. I'm happy that they added it. For the articulation, I don't want to break them, but you can do the full splits, as you see there. You don't get any type of swivel for the thigh there, but you can move them in and out a little bit, not a lot. You can get him to kick up about that much, and compared to the original figure, that's quite a bit, man. So that's definitely, I'm happier with this. It is definitely a good upgrade. And then for double jointed knees, he's not going to exactly kick his own ass, but you get a ton more range than you did with the original sculpt that they did for the body. And then the boot swivels, of course, and you actually with this get a ton of pivot. You did with the original figure as well, so that looks really, really good. And you know what? I'm happy that at least you get a boot swivel, right? With the original figure, you didn't get a boot swivel and you didn't get a thigh, and it just made for the figure to kind of look really goofy on display. But now, since you have that, you can kind of kick it out to the side, and it looks a lot more natural on your display, which is really, really nice. All right, now let's get into the stuff that I dislike. Number one, man, they literally advertised this figure with having an ab crunch, just like it was supposed to be, just like the Psycho Batman. Same exact figure, right? It's supposed to have that ab crunch. No ab crunch. DC Direct, what happened? You know? Also, since they were revisiting this figure and they could have done a lot of retooling, I wish we would have got double jointed elbows. I feel like that's not too much to ask for. I know the entire line doesn't have it, but if this is your last chance at making the animated Batman for your legacy, wouldn't you want to give him double jointed elbows? There's ways to do it without it being aesthetically displeasing. You can still make it aesthetically pleasing and giving a figure double jointed elbows. I mean, look at Marvel Legends. This is something that they're really, really good at. Look at Mafex. Look at the countless number of toys out there. So I don't like that they didn't do that. But one thing that really irks me is the cape, right? Now look at this cape. And this was the problem with the original. His cape is not supposed to come up to have spikes right there, okay? This is not Thomas Wayne. Now, as much as I want a Thomas Wayne in the animated form, this is not him, right? It's not for this guy. This is Batman. So this should have been flattened out and just kind of rolled over the shoulder. So why they didn't do that or just adjust this, I don't know, but I don't like it. I didn't like it with the original. However, it's not a make or break. I still think that the figure looks good. Alright guys, so here is the original Batman the Animated Series Batman figure next to his newer counterpart. And yeah, I mean, look at the legs. Obviously, that looks much better than the original design. Look at the updated colors around the bat symbol there. That looks much better than the original design. The belt as well looks a lot better than the original design. And it looks like, yeah, I mean, the paint application is a lot neater as well. And it does kind of look like it may have been retooled with broader pockets. I could be wrong. And then, of course, the cell shading going around on the abdominal here helps bring that out a lot more. It's also going around the chest, and you can see it creates better shadows and lines, and I think that looks really, really good. I'm also noticing that the original suit had like a blue hue going through it, and the new one is just, it's flat gray. And it looks really, really good, man. I really like what they did with the newer one. So I didn't notice that at first, so that's another update to add to the list here that they did that I think goes a long way because it looks a lot better. And then, of course, the update flesh tone, it looks so good on this new figure. Look at how the translucent one, like you can barely see the lines in his cheek. And I'm thinking about painting all these old head sculpt, repainting them, or just updating the flesh tone because it looks really, really good, man. I'd also like to add the cell shading to all the old head sculpts that came in the expression pack. I think it'd go a long way. But yeah, nonetheless, look, dude, old figure compared to the newer one, the new one definitely takes the cake and by a landslide. It looks really, really good. All right, next we have Slade Wilson, aka Deathstroke. This figure, a lot that I like and some that I dislike, unfortunately. All right, so let's take a look at this guy real quick. You do get a lot going on here, and I think for the most part, they did a really, really good job with the design of this figure. The main thing that really just irks me is this right here. You get this diaphragm joint, and when I tell you it does much of nothing, it does much of nothing. You can't rotate it past there on either side. You don't get it to go up any more than that or down any more than that. And trust me, I pried on this thing, and it doesn't do it. For the arms, obviously you get a full 360. The shoulder goes up about that much. You don't get any bicep swivel or anything like that. You get a swivel at the elbow, of course, and this is just a single joint, so you don't get too much range out of it. It is what it is. And then you just get a hinge and swivel for all the hands, which are interchangeable. I do believe he gets double jointed knees, which he can pretty much kick his own ass, so that's really, really good. And then for the boots here, you don't get a boot swivel, I don't think. Do you? You get a little bit. So you get a little bit of boot swivel, and then for the feet here, they will swivel, and then you get a little bit of a rocker. You get a rocker. It's just a little stiff on mine. Pause. You might want to heat that up. I recommend heating it up. Now the problem though, mine out of the packaging, the leg was off, and I was trying to get an extra one today because I wanted to have one with the unmasked sculpt and one with the mask sculpt. I was able to do that with Red Hood. I ordered 2 from Entertainment Earth, but for this guy, I couldn't order 2. They didn't have 2 in stock. They just had 1, and then he sold out right away. So I wish I would have just picked one up the other day when I went to the store, but I didn't. I passed. I thought they'd still have them by Friday when I get paid, and they didn't have them. He was all sold out, so that sucks. The head sculpt on this guy is great. Right out of the comics. It looks absolutely stunning. I love that. And then we'll look at his secondary sculpt in a minute. For his right sheath here, for his dagger, this comes out. It is very tight in there. That's what she said. And I feel like I'm actually going to break it once I get to about there. So I haven't pushed it down all the way. For his sidearm here, and this holster is nice. It's like a soft, pliable plastic rubber, but it swallows the gun, man. Like, the gun does not want to come out. It's hard to get in there. It's just kind of a pain in the ass. And it looks like he's rocking a Glock, or maybe a I don't know. It could be a Taurus. It's hard to tell. It looks more like a Glock, or reminiscent of a Glock. And obviously, I could see Deathstroke definitely carrying a Glock on him. So we'll get that back in there. And all the sculpt work on here looks great. Like the pockets, the buttons, the belt buckle, his ammunition straps, and everything like that looks really, really good. They did a great job with that. The sheath on the back looks absolutely amazing. Nice sculpt work again. And then the sword that goes in there, I have no problem getting in and out just fine. It's not loose, and it's not too stiff. Pause. And then you can see nice paint application, nice and cartoony for the sword itself. And that just goes in there like so. Yeah, this figure, I will say, I hope I can get another one. It can be really tough to get this guy to stand because of how his boots come all the way down. He's got the classic pirate-like boots, and it's hard to get the foot up any more than that because then it's just hitting against that sculpt right there. So that kind of sucks when you're trying to pose him and get him to stand upright. I keep having him fall back. But we do have this extra head sculpt. Well, it's not an extra head sculpt. That's the extra head sculpt. This is the one that should come on him, and that is his masthead with his bandana flying in the wind. Bandana? No, it's just, I forget what that's called. But it looks really, really good when it's on the figure. So we will go ahead and take that off. All the heads are relatively easy to come out as well. And then, okay, we'll take a look right here at that choker that he's got going on. Nice paint detail and everything like that. Looks good. So we will get this on, if I can get it on. Okay, there we go. There we go. Oh, yeah, look at, dude, he looks like he's in instant kill mode, right? Doesn't he? Look at, he looks badass. And that's what I mean, man. He looks so good with the Slade unmasked head on, but he looks so good with his masked head on as well. So it's like, which one do I display him with? You know, you want to display him with his accessories and everything like that, and then you want to display him with his unmasked sculpts. And then for the hands and everything, I think we get some new sculpts here. So you get like kind of a dashing hand right here. I always say this is their measuring hand, you know, their measuring distance between them and their opponent before they strike. I mentioned this a bunch in recent reviews. You get 2 of those. You get 2 trigger fingers, one for the right, one for the left, and then grabby hands, one for the left, one for the right. And the paint detail on my left hand one of these is completely just chipping away, which is kind of a bummer, but it is what it is. All right, guys, I've saved my favorite for last, and that's Red Hood. Yes, Red Hood, my favorite. This is my favorite figure out of the whole entire line, without a doubt, and I'll tell you why. So this guy is really, really nice for a couple of reasons. The paint application on here is really good. I also really like the design, and that goes back to the designers in the comic. You know, I think they did a really good job converting this character into the animated series, right? I think the design of his coat, his costume, everything was really, really good. And I also like the decision for them to keep the coat closed. It's just very unique, and I'm happy with what they went with. As well as having the strap for his weapon holster is very interesting. He also only has one pistol for the figure, but I think in the comic he still dual wields two pistols, if you will. But let's take a little close up real quick. You do get awesome cell shading from the feet up to the top of the boots, and then it's pretty much plain around the pants, which actually looks really, really nice. And then up to the jacket here, really no cell shading until you get on his costume, just under his neck right there. You get cell shading there, and then you get cell shading on the hands, and that looks really, really good on the gloves. He kind of has like this 70s greaser vibe, if you will, especially with his unmasked sculpt on, and that's really, really cool. What I like that they did with the hands here is the top of the glove just stays on the figure, so if you're taking off this hand, you can see the top of the glove stays on. Therefore, you still get that hinge and swivel, right? So you can still get the swivel, and you can get the hinge, and I like that they did that. Therefore, you know, it's not all awkward to move that. So for the coat here, you get like a reddish brown, and then you got a pocket right here on the front, and they just contrast that with a dark brown. It looks really, really nice. Around the back of the figure here, you can see we have his logo right there, his Red Hood symbol, and that's actually the one from Arkham. And that's very interesting. I wonder why they went with that. And then for the patches on the elbows right there, it's the same thing as the pocket on the front with a nice dark brown contrasting. That looks good. And you can see the collar is popped on the back there, and that looks good. Also, the color on the inside of the coat looks really, really good and accurate. For the actual head sculpt up close, this is phenomenal. They did a great job. And if you read the comic, you can see, you know that this is spot on. However, Red Hood does have a scar on his face. Usually, I believe it's on the left-hand side of his face. In the comic, it's on the right. And for whatever reason, they decided to put a scar on his helmet. I'm not sure, but I am only on issue number 3. So I know they're on like issue 9, so maybe I got to read farther in. Maybe they changed the origin of the scar and he gets stabbed through the mask or something. I don't know. I won't know until I read farther in. But this figure, without a doubt, is phenomenal. I really like it. I like how the strap also is loose. So you could take that off him if you want to. I'm not sure if you have to remove the head sculpt or not. You should. Well, yeah, let's see here. Take that off. And as you can see there, you can just take it all the way off if you don't want to have it on him. And then it's easy enough to put it back on. I'll just go ahead and show the gun right now while we're at it. And this is definitely a Desert Eagle right here. There's no hole in the front for you to put blast accessories from other figure lines, so that kind of sucks. And we'll go ahead and put that back in there and put it around him like so. And as you can see, it's that easy, and it lays flat. Like, you can have it on there perfectly. It doesn't really get in the way. It just seems to sit naturally, and you never really know that it's there. Let's go ahead and change the head sculpt to my favorite. Now, I picked up another one of these in my second batch that I'm getting tomorrow from Entertainment Earth. I'll have another Red Hood figure, and that's because I want to display one with his mask sculpt and then one with the unmasked sculpt. So, I got a perfect version. The paint application is perfect. The eyes aren't all wonky. They look perfect. And I like all the sculpt details in the hair right here. It looks very, very nice. And then, of course, his little strand hanging out, his bang right there. That's awesome. For the articulation, it's kind of interesting, man. They did some new stuff here. So for the legs, you can see he has like, I don't know, commando pants on or something like that. I don't know, cargo pants. And you get some type of thigh swivel, right? So if you go to move these, you can see you get some type of swivel. They swivel. That's actually really, really nice. I don't know why they didn't implement that with other figures that could have benefited from it, but it is what it is. As far as the splits, you can definitely get him to do the splits outward. Right now, it's going to stretch out that crotch piece right there, so just be mindful of that. You can go forward quite a bit, and that seems really, really nice. You're like, oh, you can get him into a superhero pose. The problem is in the knee. You only get a single bend, and that's very unfortunate. You get pivot and a hinge for the ankles. All right, classic. And you actually get quite a bit of range. It's enough range that they give you with that, so that's fine. You don't get anything at the waist as far as crunch, but you do get side to side, as you can see there. And then for the arms here, shoulders go up about that much, and you get a single bend bringing it about a 90 degree, right? And then, of course, you can rotate that all around and do a full 360. For the head, unfortunately, you barely get any movement at all, and that's with the mask sculpt as well. I don't know why they didn't try to be innovative with that and try to get as much articulation into the figures as possible, but it's like they paid no mind to it, so that's unfortunate, but it is what it is. What are you gonna do? Let's go ahead and show you Red Hood's accessories. So this is his rocket launcher right here. This has a really clean paint application, and it's really cool. You know, I'm only on issue number 4 in the comics, so I couldn't tell you if he uses this. I would imagine he does. And if he's already used it since or by issue 3, then yeah, it's escaping my mind because I can't remember, but I don't believe so, because he hasn't even really confronted Batman yet that he's alive. So but nonetheless, I mean, this is definitely dope, and hopefully he does use it in the comics and we can use it to replicate some sort of scene for some action figure photography. So that's cool. I mean, I'll take all the accessories that I can get, man. I'm all about it. And then we get Red Hood's Batarang, which I believe this is like a newer design. Again, he might use it in the comics, but again, he's kind of just hiding out in the shadows. Like, the most that he's really done so far that I've seen is to get pissed at an old guy and point a gun at him because he was lurking in an alley, kind of spying on Batman. So when the old guy called him out, he pointed a gun at him and basically told him to shut up. So yeah, you get those, and then you get a total of 8 interchangeable hands, including the 2 fists that are on him. So you get a trigger finger for the left and the right, and again, these have amazing cell shading on them, of course. And I really like his hands, man. I think out of all of them, Red Hood's hands are probably my favorite. There's no cell shading on the Deathstroke one, so. And then you get 2 open throwing hands, or again, range hands, right? So if he's measuring range before he strikes on his opponent, and you get 2 grip hands for his rocket launcher as well. And that's basically everything that he comes with. Oh, and then his head. And if I didn't get a close-up on this, I'll do it now for you guys. Let me make sure I can get a good grip on that. So here is his head sculpt. And clean paint application, man. It really is. It really does look really, really good. All right, you know what? I forgot to show you Red Hood's gun. So this is it right here. It was in his holster. My bad. It's like a representation of a Desert Eagle. I want to say this is like a Desert Eagle, right? It seems like Red Hood would definitely have a Desert Eagle. It's not quite a 911. No, it reminds me of a Desert Eagle. I'm going to say it's a Desert Eagle, all right? And, yeah. Listen, that's going to do it for today's video. Now, I have more of these figures coming. I put in a big order at Entertainment Earth when they all went live on the site 2 weeks ago. They took forever to ship it out, and instead of them putting them all in the same box, they put it in 3 different boxes for one order. I don't know. Don't ask me. So the rest of the figures are coming tomorrow on Batman Day. Get excited. So this is just part 1. All right, part 2 will be coming, and when we do part 2, I will do size comparisons with other figures for you guys. Let me know what you think about these figures in the comment section below. I tell all my friends on Instagram, dude, if you missed out on collecting the animated series figures, pick these up, right? Listen, you get a redeco of Batman, Robin, Harley, and Joker. That's a great starter for your animated series collection, right? And the Batman has better articulation with this figure, and it looks better like we saw compared to the original. So I think if you want to collect the animated series figures, don't be discouraged. You know what I'm saying? Collect this line. And then you get all the other figures, which are really dope, like Deathstroke, Red Hood, Armored Batman, Azrael. And I think that's it for now. I don't know if they're going to continue with stuff they've already shown. I doubt that they will. But look, these are, you get the figures, And they actually have a story behind them as well, because they're in the comic Batman: The Adventures Continue. And if you haven't read that, I highly recommend reading it. So I will see you guys in part 2. I hope you guys have an amazing Batman day. If I can upload tomorrow on Batman Day, I certainly will. And I will catch you guys in the next video. By the way, if you're not following me on Instagram, what are you doing? Follow me on Instagram so that we can talk figures. That's my favorite thing to do. I want to see you over there. So click the link in the description below. Follow me on Instagram so we can chat up on some figures. Anyways, I will catch you guys in the next video. Stay safe out there. Till next time. Peace.